Howdies! How's your work? It's here. Let's see what we got. You can tell from the logos, it's from Asia Tees. Specifically, BoomRacing. Oh yeah. We got ourselves a BRX01 AWB link kit. Oh yeah. Boom. Ooh, decals. It's all in the box. Wow. Got hardware. Got bed size. Parts, seats, lenses, more body parts, wheels and tires, grapplers. Oh yeah. There's our cab and body parts, grill, interior and bed. All the good stuff. Let's get that stuff out the way. Moving it over to the other bench. So what we want is in the bottom of this box. Nice little separator. Oh yeah. Oh, you gotta come in here and see this. Oh yeah. Look at that. Nice. All the parts. Nice axles. Oh yeah. Top links. Shocks. There's our chassis. Boom. Literally boom. Yep, there's all the good part. This is what separates it from the previous. This is the link truck. Oh yeah, we're gonna have fun throwing this one together. So one of the things that let me get my whole head in the frame here. So one of the things that I really like about Jason at BoomRacing is he gives me the opportunity to film these trucks from a first build perspective. So it's Saturday, it's about 2:00 p.m. Western or Arizona time, and I just got mine. And I know you guys aren't getting yours until probably shipping on Monday, but we're gonna put this thing together in a heartbeat so that this video is ready for Monday. There's my AWB link license plates. They're so good, so scaled. They did a really great job. And one of the cool things is I have another blank plate, nothing etched on it, no serial number, no nothing. I didn't get an influencer kit on this one. I just got, Jason was like, hey, can you do a video? I was like, yep, I can do that. All right, it's not gonna have anything scribed in it, but we'll get you a number eventually. I was like, I'm in. So always like having the blank plates. This is, I think, number 5 blank plate. So way cool. Appreciate Jason. All the guys at BoomRacing. You do a phenomenal job And this kit, I know, is going to be no different. It's going to be amazing. These chassis rails, I mean, that is just artwork. Beautifully machined. Just incredible. Incredible. And I can't wait to see the difference between the Link version and how much flex it's got versus the Leaf spring truck. And I can tell you, you know, just the shocks alone, I mean, these things are super, super sweet. Already built for you, no drama. And they definitely got oil in them. Definitely feels like they got oil in them. The axles, again, no slouches. They already have the truss installed on them. The link mounts are already installed on them. No messing around. I assume this is going to be a fairly quick build. And they feel smooth. The front just as good. Link mounts on it. Yeah. Way cool. Way cool. Let's see what else we got hiding in here. We got the trans. Typical trans. It's the case. Got transfer case in here too, in the foam. So get all those built, put together. The center skid is much different than the Leaf truck. This is all a machine piece. Looks really, really good. Of course, because of links. So it's a different part altogether. And then let's see, cross members. Yeah, it's these links. Look at these links. This is some beefiness here. This is going to be quite a departure from normal link building, that's for sure. I mean, look at how massive and healthy that thing is, with a curve to it, that lower radius. That is killer. I mean, the little stubs, they are machined very nicely, and they're definitely stainless. They're heavy. They got a good weight to them. All right, I would assume that is the Panhard mount system. Got all of our norms here. Got all of our toolkit that they give you. We got black graphite. We got silicone grease, 30 weight shock oil, thread lock, all included. Really good stuff. Decal sheet. All right, so this is pretty cool. We got the Eddie's RC logo on here too. This is really freaking cool. That is so cool. Got Maxi, CSSA, RCDC, AMS, Scale Performance, all the cool players that help put all these trucks together and test them out. Really, really cool. I approve. Way cool. All right, let's see what we got new in the instructions. So one of the cool things about the instruction book is the layouts. So you can inventory, make sure you got all your parts and all your hardwares. This is pretty much all the body assembly. It's all there. Putting it on. You got like a little coloring book, so you can kind of pre-paint your truck if you really wanted to. That's pretty cool. Way cool, way cool, way cool. All right. Oh. And then we got the assembly for the link truck. Way cool, same thing. Way cool. Alright. Let's get after it. Alright, here we go. We're going to give this thing a run and start here. I've got my hardware. I got my little CowRC trays that I can put my hardware in, so I can separate them out, and I can just put them over here so I don't spill them and I don't have a bunch of stuff rolling around on my bench. And because I'm old, I have a pair of nippers to be able to pick up my hardware with. I got my BoomRacing tools, so I am ready to go. These things are beautiful. So if you don't have a set of these, you need to get a set of them. They're nice and light, easy to spin. Get that hardware, you can kind of flick it and roll it in. My instructions are up on my computer screen right in front of me over here. And yeah, so you're along for the ride. Another print's done. You're along for the ride. I may time lapse this later on because it's a chassis, right? So we're going to get through this and be able to give opinions on how the build process went. So we will start off by orienting the chassis rails. So I understand that is the right side, this is the left side, and we'll get rolling here. So we need some tins. Let's get 4 of these bad boys out and ready, and we need the by-8s, which are these guys. There's the by-8s. Maybe not. Sorry, just getting worked out here. Yep, these are the by-8s. 2, 3, 4. We'll know real quick if I'm wrong. So shock towers are labeled, but it's easiest just to look at the picture and get them oriented to where they go. So they key in very nicely on the back side, as you can see. If you have it wrong, you know you are wrong instantly because it will not go together. The hardware is super nice, as always with the Boom brand. And these are Ugga tight. Nope, I'm not using Loctite. I don't use Loctite until the truck is finished and I go back after the first run and go through everything. That way if I make a mistake, I'm not doing rework and dealing with Loctite that is already set up. So that's just a my way. It's not your way. Or if it is, you know, let me know in the comments if you think I should be using Loctite right off jump. I don't think it's a necessity, but hey, some of you may have strong feelings about that. Always makes you wonder if you're putting them on right, or correctly, I should say. But they are marked, as you can see. That one says R for right. This one says L for loser. Alright, motor mounts. Where did I put you? Where did I put you? That. That was fun. Where did I put ya? Did I misplace you already? Did I put you away in the phone? Not. You are not in there. You are not in there. There you are. They're hiding over here in this other phone pack. That'll teach me. Alright, so part orientation is key here. So we got the angle down and back. It should be in, so that's that side. This. They're marked too, right and left. Pay attention to what you're doing, Jeremy. There you go. Don't be such a clown. Don't be such a clown. Okay. Like I said, these go together so kind of effortlessly. The hardware just goes in where it's supposed to go in if you line the holes up. My old hands here. Ugh. Go. Cooking in. Alright. We got the shift servo bracket that needs some 8s. So we'll grab 2 more of those. Come on, baby. Cooperate with me here. I put that one in there a little too tight to get the other one to line up. I know, I'm blocking your view. I hear you talking. Dang, Jeremy, we can't see what you're doing. Yeah. I got you. Just had to get them started. The holes are so precision on these aluminum to aluminum parts that you really make sure you get your bolts started straight. And these, just kind of run them in a little bit at a time, top to bottom. So you can see what I'm working on. So I'm just running them in a little bit on each one because the tolerances there are tight. And it's a good thing on a servo bracket like that. So there we go. I think we're a minute or two in. And that was step 1. Alright. So now we are going to set the wheelbase. So we need some 12s. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them bad boys. Then we need our adjuster brackets. And this is kind of the key thing, is these adjuster locks and guides. Man, I just can't open a plastic bag today. My Lord. Am I getting too old for this? Let me know. Maybe I'm aging out of kits. Yeah, I don't think so. All right. So here are the rear rails, and you can see it's got the index marks, and they're actually, you know, they're actually machined in, and they correlate to this mark, which gives you your wheelbase measurement when you use your decoder ring to get that all figured out. So we want to make sure that we got the correct rails matching up, and we do. Everything goes in from the back side on this deal. This plate has a serrated side and a non-serrated side. So serrations, there's a big word, serrations are up. Then the washers are also serrated. So you want serration to serration. Back here. And we drop them in, and they want them in the far outside holes for this. Now you do want to make sure that your washer is locked into the serration, so you got to make sure your grooves are lined up before you set this, because you can actually have them oriented the wrong direction. So there's one. There's 2. Get our little lines over there. As I get older, I get a much better appreciation for using the tweezers. And there you go. You have a chassis rail that is adjustable. Way cool. Way cool. Alright, so we will get this one in its happy little place, and we will rinse and repeat. I haven't shot a video here in this shop yet with my new setup, so I gotta work on getting a overhead camera. And I've been kind of shopping around to find one, and I haven't really found one that kind of trips my trigger yet. And they're expensive, so I really need to do due diligence to get the right one the first time. There we go. She just had to find her happy spot there. Because I don't like to buy things twice based on me not doing my homework. So I definitely need to get an overhead view so you guys can see down instead of across from the side. I get it. I know that might be frustrating, but these things cost what they call money, and you know, I'm retired. So what do you want? A retired guy spend all his money on foo-foo stuff? All right. So this one got a little gap in it. So need to close that gap. There we go. So you can see on here, this is your range of motion is from here to open this chassis up. We're setting it at the shortest wheelbase to begin with here. The Zil, actually, you know what? The Zil body is 2 millimeters. So we'll open it up. Oh, did I already put those screws in? I did, dummy. So we will do the 2 millimeter adjustment on here, which is technically the 3rd tick mark. I'll show you that here in a second. I'm going to get this locked down again. So there we have 3rd tick mark. So 0, 1, 2. Best way to explain that, I guess. Make the adjustment on this one. It's as easy as loosening those 2 screws up, holding it in place, and locking it back down. And there we go with our 1, 0, 1, 2. So we got our rails at length. Next, all right, so next is all the cross members to make this chassis look like a chassis. All right, so let's start with the back. Let's orient our partsy and PCs. So this one looks like the easiest one to throw in first. Just tab A, slot B stuff here. And we need a number 8. I do not tighten these down until all the braces are in place, because if you don't, you'll regret it when you put the other side on. So this one is countersunk 8. And we got the front is a drop with a recess and a flat. Only another 8. Just when you think you have the biggest bench that you could possibly have, you don't. You don't at all. Move my mouse up a little bit and get more of this in the frame here for you. So we got those. Now we need the cross member. Again, orientation is everything, so make sure you have the correct where your holes are. So the transfer case mount holes on the picture are showing on this side of the left rail. So we need some 3x12s. And they go in right ahead of the adjuster. Now we're starting to look like the chassis again. There we go. All right. Now we need this one, which is 3x8s. This is going to make for a very rigid chassis, just like the rest of them. And so far, the leaf and the link is pretty similar. There's a few different parts, like the link skid, and I can see people doing like a link front, leaf rear type setup on these. That, you know, I can see that coming as a strong possibility. We need to do our servo mount, and that is this screw and this screw, this driver. And the servo mount is clockable, so you can put the mounting screw through in a multitude of locations, but the instructions are showing that hole for this mount. It should end up to be the middle hole. Yep, dead on. Just like it was designed. Alright, so we got that side on, so let's give her the old flipperoo. And we will get the other hardware out. 2, 1, 2. You gotta make sure you get all your crosses and all your braces all lined up so it all falls into place nice and nice. There we go. Start snapping together here. Get that one in there. That one in there. It should go together pretty good here. Again, I don't tighten these down until I have the whole thing in place, and then I'll go back over it because I want to make sure that the chassis is square and that there's not any weirdness going on. They're good trying to do two things at once. All I do is slow myself down. Alright. That thing is rigid, buddy. Let me tell you. Rigid. Alright. So we're going to tighten everything down. My clutch is at 1. Don't yell at me. All these are already pre-threaded or pre-started. I know my hand tools. They're probably built 1,000 trucks with this thing already. I know how many Ugga-Duggas. But if you're new to this, stick to the hand tools. There we go. We're all glued down, and we have a chassis. All right. So on the bottom, we have these neat little protectors. And what they do is they add support to the joint from the top, or from the bottom side, I should say, on the top side. So it kind of locks everything together. So these go on. Let's see if we can, let's reorient our chassis. We got the hole in the back, so this is this side, this is this side, and she goes on like that, and then we got some baby screws for that. And what I mean by baby screws is these are 2.5s. Baby screws. These are just stiffeners and lock plates for this. I'm telling you right now, hardware organization is so overlooked. It's critical. Having what you need right where you need it is a great way to do RC stuff, for sure. All right, on to the next page. All right, we're moving into the transmission. All right, you guys have seen me build these transmissions. It's the same transmission across the BRX line. I am not going to subject you to the transmission build. If you want to see the transmission, go back and look at the my original, the BRX02 has the build on that for the main gearbox. The new gearbox with the short shaft in between the transfer and the transmission, that is in the Series 2 Land Rover build on the BRX02. So go check those out. I'm going to go build a transmission. I'm going to let my camera kind of take a break, and we'll come back when we put the transmission in. Okay, transmission transfer, just like that. No, just kidding. My advice to you is to pay attention to the instructions, pay attention to the thickness of the spacers, where they're located, the gears, lay it out, put it together dry maybe once, make sure everything spins free, then open it back up, grease all your gears, for the transmission, and then seal it up. The transfer case, because there is no jack shaft between these two with a U-joint, it's a fixed location, and this design is stellar, super stout, no issues whatsoever. But they give you this nice little tool, alignment pin, that goes through that bearing and that gear, and it holds all the spacers until you're ready to insert the shaft from the transmission into the transfer case. It's a really unique setup, and it works flawlessly. There's no vibrations in this drive line because they've eliminated all those joints. So much better, much more better. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw this in to our chassis. For a note, there are two different screw lengths for the transfer case, and one is super short and one is less short. So the less short goes toward the rail, and the short is kind of towards the center. So what I typically do is I just place it kind of loosely where it goes, and the transmission screws is where I start. Get these lined up where they're all happy, just loosely started. One is plenty, two is insurance. Because what you don't want to do is separate this transfer case from this shaft without that pin in it. Your spacer may move around in there, so you want to keep it in place as long as possible until you get the screws mounted down. So long screw on the far side, short screw towards the center of the chassis. So get that in there, and you'll know if you put the long screw in the center hole, your gears will lock up. You'll know it before you go too far, especially if you spin it lightly by the tool shaft like that. So we get those locked in, and I like to lock in the transfer case and then lock in the motor or transmission, just because it makes everything, just in my brain, it makes everything run true if there's no bind on anything. Not that there would be. I mean, you can see I can turn these in just using the tool shaft, not the handle. So everything's lined up. It's total precision. Make no mistake, you won't have any issues here. Feel confident. And lock her down. And these transmissions have a very wide step between the first gear and second gear, or low and high, and they are notoriously fast. I've won some drag races with these bad boys, people not expecting it, especially if you're running brushless. It just scoots and goes. So, all right, we're at the point now where we're going to set this aside and we're going to start building links. Let me get set up for that, and I will be right back. All right, I think we got everything set up here. Let me move you over a little bit closer to this. So I've never built this style link setup before, so bear with me. I think I can figure this out. We're definitely going to need some Loctite on this because we have set screws holding arms together. But first we're going to build the links. So I have the links set out. I have my panhard over here. It's kind of the shinier of them, and it's just like 2 millimeter shorter than the front upper link. And these are the front lower links, rear lowers, the other half of those, and the rear uppers. Yep, those are rear upper links. That's pretty wild. As far as the rod ends go. Typical, rod ends. There's a couple different flavors, couple different shapes. So you'll definitely want to make sure that you have your shapes for the link ends that you're putting together. I do have my link end tool, so hopefully I can use that with these rod ends, because they're a little heavier than what that tool was designed for, but I think we can get there. So looking at the pictures, we'll get ready to do our front upper link all by itself. So we need a straight end, and we need one that is curved. If you see that, it's got little peronis going on there. If you know, you know. So this is that link, and these are grub screws. So we'll grab a couple grubs. It's been a while since grub screws have been used for link building, so that's pretty cool. One of the advantages of using the grub screw is getting them started a little bit easier. There's a couple different methods for doing that. These rod ends kind of just take them pretty easily, and just kind of run them down. When you feel getting a little firm, you're done. And the ones that are angled are the ones that give you problems, because the tool doesn't really work really well with the angle drivers, or the straight driver with the angle on it. But as you can see, I can turn it in by hand. I'm not using a tool. It's easily done. It'll just wear out your hand. Like your hands will just get a little stiff. You can use the rod end tool to hold it. Then it's a little bit less pressure on your hand. And you're done when you're done. So there's that. And the ends go right in. No issues there. And to kind of, again, save my hands, I use the 2-driver method, and I just sit there like I'm knitting and run the ends in until they're in the orientation called out by the manual, which is this way. So in line. Oh, got it a little tight. So in line, angle, rod end. And then the fun job of putting the balls in. So when you put the ball in, this boom racing tool is freaking flipping fantastic. They give you their tool, and they show it in the instructions on how to use this tool, which is great for putting ball ends in. Just takes a little time. They created the better ball end tool here, and it is rather effortless. And it just like no drama. You don't pinch your hands, you don't have to put your finger in between to stop it so it doesn't push it all the way through. It's fantastic. And then the extractor part, you just roll this around and it pushes the ball into that piece. So it just flips around for the insert, and then you have a bigger hole for removal. So it's pretty genius. And that thing doesn't flop around, it's nicely tooled in there. And putting these in is, if you can hold them, is, like I said, it is quite fantastic. It just, bloop, done. Or if you're old school, you can sit there and push them down in the table with your thumb, and then go see your doctor about why you have trigger finger. But so there's one link done. We will get the lowers done. Let's get our grub screws out here. We'll need 4 of them, because we're going to do 2 links. I'll try and pick up the pace a little bit. And these are just straights, so that's a little easier. 4 straights. 4. Come here. Grub screws running away. Too much stuff on my bench. Man, am I still in frame? Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm not frame free anymore. You're just looking at parts on my desk. There's, I'm sure, a million ways to skin this cat of putting link ends together. This is Jeremy's world. This is how Jeremy does it. Because I'm old. And I gotta take it easy on my hands sometimes. And this makes my world work. Boom. Alright. Now, let's see. We gotta do pan hard. Need 2 more of them. And the pan hards are both straights as well. Find some more straights. Pick up the right tool, Jeremy. That'll be helpful. So even just these few links, my hands get tired. But power through it. Power through it. Using power tools and I still get tired. But to be fair, I think I have built 4 vehicles in the last 7 days. And as of the filming of this, today's Sunday. And if all goes well, you'll see this tomorrow. And it'll look like I did this weeks ago because I had all this time to sit and plan a build. Nope, it got delivered yesterday around it was around 5:30 Arizona time. So I had the live with Mike George last night, so I couldn't build. Obviously couldn't build while we were on the live, but you know, that's how it goes. Alright, now we got the stubbies. So the stubbies, this tool, it's actually kind of designed for this link to hold the ends for the rod ends, and these are both angles. 4 of those. Yep, got 4 of the same. And you can start them. Use my little knitting trick. You don't have to spin both, you can just spin one and it'll drive both of them home. And there we go. We need 45 degrees of separation here. Get my eyeballs on it. Do this smarter. There we go. There's separation. Our link balls in. Why did I do it that way? I went full weirdo there for a second. Get that one done. My other link ran way away. The key here is to get them started straight. Enough pressure to get them to start. Then you gotta have enough pressure to keep them going. Yeah, I didn't think that would work. It just made it all wonky wonky. Tight. There's separation. There's separation. Put the pivot balls in. There we go. On to the next page, which is going to be, yep, more rod ends. So these funky looking things already have the studs in them. Oh, and they are, I'm confirming they are straight ends. These on. That one on. Come on. Get these little guys on. Almost at the end of building links. I think we got one more though. Steering cross link will need to be built. So there's that to look forward to. Ooh. Hit clutch on that one. Drove her home. Nice thing about spinning them in with this is it gets the plastic warm, so it has a nice melt on it going onto that stainless, which keeps them from spinning off later. Alright, so there we go. So now we need our set screw set. Get 4 of them out. And, oh, we didn't put pivot balls in there yet. We have to put pivot balls in. How could I forget that? It just goes so smooth. No pops. No trying to hurt yourself. You just let it go. Doesn't go too far. So I got a sales brochure for this tool because I'm just going to throw the rest of my shock pliers away. I think just replaced them all. Alright, so we got set screws. Make sure that it's like a D shaft, so you gotta make sure you put it in so it lines up with the flat. Put our other one in. And they want us to have a 4mm spacing. So 109.7mm total. There we go. Yeah, 4mm calipers. So we can get our 4mm. Come on. You get looser but firmer. So 4mm is actually right at that groove. So if we put that down and line that up and then lock our set screw, we got 4mm. So that's nice and easy. And then we can clock our pins. So we have a good clock on that. Well, that wasn't too bad. And put in a little cheat code there with having the 4mm relief. Pretty cool. There we go. Get our end links clocked. Close is close. Okay, there we go. And then they do, just so you know what I'm looking at, there's what I'm looking at on the screen. It's just big. I'm old. Give me a break. But there it is. And it's got all the layouts for the links for the top view. Which I do actually find it helpful to lay out the links visually where they go. So you don't get confused on which one's which, because like right now, it's kind of like which one's which, but I know that this super shiny one is my panhard, and my short one is my top link. So that's pretty easy to navigate. So we got, I'm not going to do the picture thing. I know which ones are which. And the rears are super easy because they're unique, very unique. All right, so let's roll down here. Let's see what we need. We need some 18s. I don't know what I did with my BoomRacing screw measurer. I don't know if I'm just getting better at eyeballing screws or what. But we need 3 of the 18s. We need 3 lock nuts and 2 of the 8s, which are right here and here. All right, so put the chassis back over here. Let me move you guys over a little bit. All right, there we go. Get my hardware down here where I can find it. And we're gonna go with the front upper link, which is this bad boy. Orientation is as such. The 18, we are 2 holes forward with your lock nut. Change the way I'm holding things here. Of course I'm going to drop it. Get you started. There we go. First link done. Woohoo! Say hi. Hi. I guess we can do the pan hard while we're in here, because that should fly together pretty quick. So don't forget it later. This one, I will use a little bit of Loctite. Although they look super accessible from the bottom. And it is mirrored. The same holes exist on the other side of the chassis. So if you ever need to customize or whatever, you probably could put the pan hard on the other side if they had a different mount for it. So that's kind of cool. So there's the pan hard. And there's identical mount screw holes over here. There's an extra one. So BoomRacing is really good at making provisions for their future selves. Super great at it. And I'm sure they have a plan. They wouldn't put things where they shouldn't belong unless they had a plan for them later. So can't wait to see what else they do. Oh, and I am using the BoomRacing wrench, the little open-end wrench that they give you. It is nice to see them give you all the little tools that one could want. You can also use their little tool here, but when you get to the inside of the chassis rails, it gets a little weird because you can lock it in and actually bend that one. So I highly suggest using their open-end wrench for inside the chassis rails. So there you go. Bob's my uncle on that one. I got no hardware left. Moving on to lower links. Alright, so now I need some 16s, which should be these. And how many of them? I need 4 of them bad boys. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to keep our orientation here. So we got front going front. Pan hard. Let's put pan hard on since it's at a different direction. And that's an M12. So where's my 12s? Put my 12s. Is that a 12? Man, am I crazy? That's a 12. I grabbed the wrong screws. Look at me. I'm not as smart as I think I am. That's got to be these guys. Oh, for the links. Are you a 16? 16 going on 17. Yep, that's my 16s. Crisis averted. Grab the right screws. And again, I'm going to put a little bit of thread lock on this one for the pan hard. It's not, it's the same both sides, so kind of throw it in there. It just feels so weird to be putting links on an AWB. It's like, what's happening? Alright, so I'm going to change tools. Drive these in. So we got our front lowers, which orientation are straight. And they obviously go in the lower part of the chassis. Do a little spinny. There we go. No reason to yank down on them. I'll do that one by hand. It's on this side. There we go. And then on the orientation of these, they want the grub screws on the inside, with this end at the chassis. So that's what we're going to do. And if you ever wanted to adjust it, I don't think it would be too bad to kind of just flex it to get to those grub screws and make your adjustments. Of course, it would be helpful if I put the correct one. See? I know, perfect. Angled this way, so it's this one. Must be getting tired. It is 11 o'clock. Getting lunch hungry. I might stop after Links. Chew food. I'm going to probably have spaghetti burrito. If you know, you know. It's the spaghetti burrito. It's Robert Pez's favorite Italian meal. He told us so last night. Favorite Italian meal. Alright. There we go. We got a BoomRacing link truck. Look at that. There's those short links on the tops. That's wild, isn't it? This is cool. We got a link truck. Alright. I'm going to go eat some lunch, and I will be back. You won't notice a thing. Alright. Back from lunch. Got a fresh cup of coffee. And we're moving on to steering links here. Or the front axle steering link, I should be clear on that. So it's just a matter of the same, just putting the grub screws in the link ends, getting them tight, getting them clocked so that they're all right, popping in the pivot ball, good shape on that one. Alright, let's see. Yep, that's all it asked me to do. Alright, so the next part is the front axle. So we got our front axle, nice and pretty. Got the little rubber protectors on the steering link. We'll leave the ones on the axle shafts and orient our part. And we need to remove these two screws. Take that off and put on our panhard mount, and that is with these two screws. So not too bad. A little easier than the leaf trucks, where you have to reconfigure all the leaf springs. So that's pretty cool. Couple little ugga-duggas, and I think we're in good shape there. Okay, we're in good shape. Then we need 3x12s, so that's the little guys again, and we will put our bar on, goes on the back side on the bottom. Yep. All right, there we go. And it does want us to put the O-ring on. I missed the O-ring. Oh, and we missed the spacer. I got ahead of myself. So the O-ring and the 4/7 spacer, D47. Is one of them little guys. So it's probably to adjust the toe. So let's go ahead and take this back off. See, that's why I say you really need to read the instructions all the way through for each step before you get carried away. Even looking a step or two ahead is a good idea, so you don't do things like this. So there we got our little spacer, and I'm sure it's just a toe adjustment to the truck. Our little O-rings are right here, and what the O-rings for is to prevent the steering link from flopping. Nobody likes a floppy link. So the O-rings go on here on the pivot ball like so. And that O-ring is trapped between the link, the rod end, and the steering arm. There we go. Ah, jumped right off of there. Get on now. So, with the O-ring toward the steering arm, I have it on backwards. Put it on the steering arm. Solution to every problem. that one. And it is very clear in the instructions. I just didn't look down at the page where the big old note is that says to do that. So yeah, that shim keeps things looking good for sure. All right, so next are shocks. A little jump around here, not too bad. Not too bad. So get our shocks. We got shorts and longs. Still don't mix them up. So you got 70s and 80s. So it's pretty obvious which ones are which. All right, so let's see if there is fluid already in these or not. Nope, they are dry. Well, not dry, there's grease in it. But they want us to use their 30 weight. So we will use their 30 weight. I'm just glad I don't have to assemble the shock. It is already done. Alright. Of course, I'm building shocks with no paper towel next to me. So all I'm doing is just bleeding the air out. I'm just working the body of the shock so that the piston stays below the fluid that I put in. And now I got a little bit of aeration in there, a little bit of bubbles. I like to go just at the bottom of the threads. I'd tilt it over and show you, but it'll just spill. And then when I put it back together, right before that rubber seal, I'll get that rubber seal so it goes down and it touches the fluid so it's a little bit wet. And then I will compress the shock and then tighten the top. So what it does is it creates a little bit of pressure in there, but it doesn't push the fluid. So I'd say we're in good shape. The shock is tight. On to the next. I've never had bad luck with these. The shocks seem to hold fluid for a long time. It takes a lot of wear, a lot of miles to go through a set of seals in these shocks. So I've always been happy with this brand for sure. There we go. Got oil under it. Right to the bottom of the threads. Gonna run it down, get the O-ring a little wet, bring it back up. Collapse the shock, tighten the top. Oh, and that one pushed out fluid. So let me go get a paper towel. Because I don't want shock fluid all over everything. So we just wipe it off. And we're in good shape. No hydro lock, no nothing. Such an easy way to build. And same for the big shocks. Get that air out of them. And this is just getting the air out from below the piston. So I can tell you right now that shock's got a lot of fluid in it. A little bit too much in there. Come on, hands. All right. That worked out pretty good. No hydro bind, we're in good shape. Get that air out. Now, if I was building shocks for, say, a touring car or something that I'm going to race, I would let these shocks sit with the caps off for maybe a day to let all that air work itself out naturally. But to be perfectly honest, with crawler shocks, I don't find it as quite so devastating to have a little bit of air on these, because they just don't, it just doesn't seem to make a difference. No bind, we're in good shape. Shocks, near done. It's tough on the old fingers though, pushing past those springs. Alright, so we got more pivot balls. Now here's an important step, which is these pivot retainers, pivot ball retainers. There's a right way and a wrong way to do this, and I see it done wrong more than I see it done right. So it clearly shows in the instructions that you're looking for this notch. There's a little notch on one side of the eyelet, the other side is smooth. So on the notch side is the side that you push the retainer into, okay? The pivot ball comes in from the other side. And this tool is also made for this. It has all the rings in it to push that ball in. There should be no plastic pushed out around any of that. Now the bottom side is the same way. There's a little notch right there. Now one thing you want to do is make sure that the end is tight. That one was a little loose, so make sure that the end is tight. Put the retainer in on the notch side, put the ball in on the other side, give her a nice squeeze, and she done. Rinse and repeat many, many times. Goes in on that side, ball goes on that side. Oop. Nice little squeeze. Nothing's protruding out. Make sure that your eyelet is bottomed out. And I will go back and thread lock those when I retighten everything after the first drive, because that's one spot you don't want to come off. You don't want to lose the bottom of your shock. So once again, find the notch, a retainer, the ball, the squeeze, tighten, retainer, and ball, the squeeze. Retainer, the ball. Oop, she jumped. Did you see that thing? It launched itself out of there. The squeeze. They do give you 2 spare retainers, so keep that in mind. But shocks, job done. Yep, I watch Matt Armstrong too. Alright, so next one up is we're gonna put the axle under the truck. Alright, so they do this, they show it in the manual upside down, which is always a treat for trying to orient your parts. Taking out the top cross bolt. They show it in this orientation. They show it going in this way. Actually, I think these look a bit long. I don't know why they look so long. I have to take a note of that. The screws that we put in for the panhard, they're a little proud. I have to see. I know I used the right screw that they told me to use, but it just looks a little proud. Anywho, the panhard goes in the top hole, and that is with a 12. Drop a smidge of thread lock on there. I tend to put the panhards on first on the link trucks because sometimes they're a little weird to do once all the links and the shocks are on. So that's just me being me. That's the one I put in first. There's no order of assembly on this page, so you can do as you wish. I know why that's that way. I was supposed to put that back on. I didn't put that back on. That's why it's so proud. Let me see if I can. Oh, that's nice. Flip it right out of the way. Let me do that. See, that was going to bug me. Boom. Let's see what we look like now. Oh yeah, we're back in check. Good job, good job, good job. All right, so let's get our lowers out of the way, and we're gonna put the upper through. Not used to such precision fit on trucks. Been building a lot of junk apparently. You know, sometimes you got to spread those plastic ones apart, or you got to kind of wedge the link in to get it to fit. And this one, it's just slips in, bolt goes through. It's done. Alright. Don't over tighten that because you do have that gap there. So we got that. Then we got our linkies, which uses the shock as well. And those are 26s, which I think are these. I'm gonna roll myself out here to 26. Yep, that's it. So we want the, what shock is it? It's the 80mm. So we want the long shocks, and it wants that hole, and the link is on the inside. fiddly fit. Ah, need another hand. All right. And lock nut. Use my cheater pliers here. Go. That's one. There's the other one. Lock that. Alrighty. And then we need to do. Alright, we're in the shop. 6 hours later, almost midnight Arizona time. And I'm editing the video to put up so you can watch this in about 7 hours. Hopefully it uploads in time for your viewing pleasure at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard. However, the reason I'm coming to you in the middle of this video is GoPro lost my footage. So all that build work, all gone. About another half hour. And it's just installing the axles. So here we are on my iPhone. And here's a look around the shop. It's all there. So let me go over what the finished product looks like, and yeah, we'll go from there. All right, here it is in all of its beauty. It is all assembled and is looking great, looking straight. I love that there's no shocks above the chassis rails. That is so good in the back. Coming up forward, all the drivetrain is installed, and it looks so good in a link format. Here's the front in all of its glory. No, I did not do electronics. Electronics will be in the next video. I just want to get the chassis assembled, go through all of that, and it was flawless. We'll spin you around so you can see the other side. The radio box is up here, and it is out of the way for the Zil body. So that's what this is designed for. So that's why the radio box is up there. There's plenty of room back here for it if you so desire to make your own. But yeah, there it all is. Super awesome. These links, being adjustable in and of themselves, allows for pinion angle and length adjustments with some new uppers. It's a lot of possibilities here for fine-tuning your wheelbase to get that just right look. Super happy with it. The build was incredible, and total time on me building this, you saw the hour and 37 minus a lunch in there and a transmission build. I was in about 2.5 hours. So inside of 4 hours, you can build the link. It's really simplistic. It goes really quick, and the manual is great. Pay attention to the manual, to all the steps. Read your page before you do your work, and you'll be in good shape. So there we are. And I really appreciate you guys sticking around this long for all this. Even though the outcome, you didn't get to see the final parts assembled, but it was literally just putting axles on a link truck. So I appreciate all you guys for watching. Hit that like and subscribe. And I want to thank Jason for sending this out, and all the crew at Boom Racing that are doing incredible things. There's a ton of stuff coming. So hold on to your hats, build your rigs, go tiny trucking, and thanks for watching. Bye. Howdies! As you were.